Y'all give me a minute. We're loading up on YouTube. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. We're going to get off this real quick. Go back over here. Got it. All right. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good, 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 good. I'm getting a bunch of messages here. How do I access the pages and learning materials? Nikki Carrington. Y'all give me a second. Someone send me a bunch of messages here. I signed up and pay my monthly fees, but haven't received any additional info. Hold on. Let me give her a call. Y'all give me just one moment. I've got a student who's trying to sign in. Let me make sure that. Hi, is this Ms. Carrington? All right, one moment. Let me check your account to see if you are in our system yet. One moment. Oh, you're on the Zoom call now? Okay, well then if you're on the Zoom call, you can ask that question in the Zoom call. All right. If you're in the Zoom call, just ask me the question on Zoom. That way I don't have to break from class. Y'all give me just a second. I was having some problems with logging into my account. It was just going haywire here today. I've got to work some things out with Wix. I don't know what they're doing. Had to go into a private browsing and all types of stuff today. So y'all give me a second. All right. All right, let me see where we're at. Where were we? We are on YouTube. All right, I'm in private browsing right now, so it's probably not gonna let me show a lot of stuff. But hopefully we won't have that problem. Y'all give me a second. Let me sign into my YouTube channel. Oh shoot. I gotta get out of this private browser. RBBS. Trucking at Outlook. Now give me just a second. Oh, I was doing a lot of uh-oh. Oh, here we go. The request comes from Firefly Publishment. Insert a security key. I don't have time for that. Move your phone closer to the device where you're signing in and then try again. What? I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, use security key. Insert. Okay, I don't want to do that. I had some problems with this systems today. Get all the verification. All right, here we go. I've had some problems with my my systems today. Some people were trying to hack my systems, and I had to upgrade a lot of stuff. So I'm operating in incognito mode while they are running some diagnostics to try and track down who it is was trying to hack my systems. So y'all, if it takes me longer to do stuff because I'm operating incognito mode, and I have got to so everything is going through a secure mode right now. So and I do apologize, but this is what happened when you start doing stuff and people want to try and get in on it without paying. So you know, it is what it is though. Okay. So we'll just try and work with that, and you know, it is what it is. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. We're going to start my recording. I think I got everything up and going the way I want it to right now. Start my recording. All right, good evening, everybody. This is Calvin Butler with the RBBS Logistics Learning Center and the National Dispatchers Network. And today is Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was a little late, 7:12, and it is dispatch training. With our continued series of how to dispatch from home series. Okay, we are on part number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Last week we did the dispatch agreement and the profile form. We did that last week. So after you have gotten your dispatch agreement signed and the profile form filled out, now it's time to find some loads. So what you're going to do from here is you're going to basically call your carriers, each of them that you have signed up to your dispatch agreement, and you're going to find out where they are currently located. Okay, that's number one. After you've got everything signed, you're going to call them and find out where everything's located. Now, some of the things that you're supposed to have already with that profile form, you were supposed to go ahead and get their letter of authority. You want to keep that with your files. You're supposed to get their letter of authority. You're supposed to get their proof of insurance. Get their insurance cert. Get that. Get their if they've got a what's the code I'm looking for? SAT code. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get the SAT code and all that stuff. You're gonna have all that stuff in house. So when you start searching the load boards and contacting brokers about loads, when they ask for that stuff, you've got it already. Okay, you shouldn't have to break and say, well, let me call my carrier and see if I can get it. No, go ahead and get that stuff up front as soon as you get back the dispatch agreement and the profile form. Ask them to send that stuff along with it. That way you have it already. You got the MC number, you got the DOT number, you got their insurance certification, you got their SAT code, you got their letter of authority, you got everything you need. So that if a broker says, well, we don't have that person in our system, we need them to fill out a carrier broker packet. Okay, now you got the stuff you need to fill that out for them because you got that dispatch agreement, which gives you what what's what I'm looking for, inferred or an applied power of attorney. Okay, you have the implied power of attorney, and it's a good thing to go ahead and ask your carrier. Now, if a broker wants you to fill out a carrier broker packet, do you want me to fill that out for you? Go ahead and get their permission up front. If they say, yep, that's great. That way you don't have to waste time with sending it over to them. You can go ahead and go to the website that they're sending a link to. You can fill it out. You got the MC number. You got you got their insurance cert. You got their letter of authority. You got everything you need to present for you to fill that information out and turn that carrier packet in. And then they go to look at it. Okay, let's go ahead and book him on this load. Now, woof. All right. So with that said, we're gonna go to some load boards, and let me go ahead and pull up my screen here and start sharing my screen. Y'all give me just one moment. Let me start sharing my screen. All right, here we go. All right. Now, as you all know, when you go into your back office, I actually had to change my login because someone hacked my back office and I couldn't log in. So I had to go in and shut it down and recreate my login and call Wix and have them to do some things to shut off access. And right now I'm operating in incognito mode. If y'all see that little mask up there, that means I'm incognito mode, which means nothing is being saved, no logins, no nothing. And they are currently running security systems check to try and track down the person who hacked our system. And they will find them. And when they do, I will prosecute. Because look, I've gone through this before. I used to let that stuff slide. Now I've started like really, cracking down on it. And, a couple of people have gotten in legal trouble because of it. They now have one person is on probation. One person, I think they got it settled through the courts or system, whatever this and that. But that's identity theft. That's what it is. It's identity theft. And that's a felony, in case y'all didn't know. Okay. When you start hacking people's stuff and start assuming their identity to access stuff that they've paid for, that is identity theft. And that is a felony. So, and I used to let that slide, but I had to stop doing that because people were doing it just so often. Okay. If someone comes into the back office, they change the passwords to our load boards. Guess what? That's identity theft. That's a felony. Believe it or not, that is a felony. So, and that's why I have the warning on all the stuff when you click into the back office. It tells you when you click on that stuff, it tells you do not alter our logins. Do not change the logins. Okay, it tells you all that. It warns you that that if you do, you will be charged with identity theft. And because once I have them to run those security checks, all they're going to do is just check it and find the IP address that did it, and it's going to trace back to an email address you use or something like that, and that's how they're going to get you. So don't do it. That's all I can tell you. Don't do it. Okay, because if you do it and then you expect me to just let it slide and be merciful with you, I'm not. I'm telling you up front, I'm not. This is about as much mercy as what I'm showing right now. I'm giving you a warning beforehand. Don't do it. Okay? All right. With that being said, we're going to go over here to one of our load boards, my favorite load board, which is direct freight. That's where we're going to go. And we're going to do some load acquisitions. Now, here's the thing about finding loads. Now, you should be at the point where this should be done. There's two ways you can do this. Okay. First of all, let's break down the shift of how you work as a dispatcher. Dispatching has what's called a split shift when you're dispatching from home. Okay. The best time to make phone calls to owner operators to hit them with your pitch to try and get them signed into your dispatch agreement is between the hours of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4 and 9 p.m. Why? Because they've been running all day. They probably shut down about 3 o'clock. They pull into a truck stop. They find them a park and try to get situated before the truck stop gets full. First thing they do is they go inside and they get them a shower. Then they come back out, they get something to eat. Then they probably sit down in front of the television set and watching something that they don't want to watch because someone else got to the remote control first. Or they're sitting out in their truck on their satellite TV watching the game, or they're on the computer or something of that nature. Most of the time, they may be out in their truck or online inside the truck stop looking for a load for the next day. So that is the perfect time for you all to reach out to them and to call them. Hey, Mr. Truck Driver, I see you at such and such truck stop, and I see you got a reefer, and my name is Vernon Kearney, and I'm with Kearney Dispatching, and I want to know how much money do you need to move your truck? That's the best time to hit them with the pitch. That is the best time to hit them with the pitch. Don't call them during the daytime because they're driving. Most truck drivers are driving during daylight, during the daytime. 70 to 72% of truck drivers drive during daylight time. About another 27 to 30% drive at night. Okay, so that's your best time to contact them. All right, best time to contact them with the pitch. Now, from 6 a.m., I like to do it from I get up at 4:15. And I start my day at about 4:30, 4:45 when it comes to finding freight and contacting the carriers, because I know that most carriers are up around about 4:30. Why? Because they shut down the day before around about 3 or 4 o'clock. You got 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Their 10 hours is up. Even if they shut down at 5 o'clock, you got 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Their 10-hour shutdown time is up and they are able to run. Most drivers are going to get up early that morning around about 4:45. They're going to get in the fuel lane. They're going to fuel their truck up. They're going to pull back around to the parking spot. They're going to go inside, get some breakfast, do their little thing, whatever, and they're going to be out. And if they haven't picked up a load yet, they're going to be heading to the shipper, on the way to the shipper by 5 a.m., by 5:30. They're heading to the shipper to get there by 6 a.m. when the shipper opens, so they're in line first so they can get loaded and get out. The smart ones went to the shipper the day before, got the load, and then went and parked at the truck stop. So at 6 a.m., 5:30, they're on the road. They're heading out, trying to get ahead of traffic. And for those that don't have a load, they're still going to get up early because they're looking for freight. They're going to try to find some freight. So that's the best time for you to call your carriers that don't have load yet, is between that 5 a.m. and that 6 a.m. Okay? You're going to call them and say, hey, Mr. Carrier, where you at today? I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, great. Any particular place you want to go? No, man, just find me some good paying freight. All right, I got you. I'm going to call you back in a little bit. Then you jump on your load boards. That's that split shift. Because you're going to work that morning shift from about 5 a.m. until about 9 a.m. I'm going to be honest with you. All the loads trucks are probably loaded by 8:30, 9 o'clock. There are some loads that are still out there, and some truck drivers who are still out there looking for loads after that time. But most you should have all your trucks loaded and on the road, and your money made for the day no later than 10 a.m. No later than 10 a.m. After 10 a.m., it's just a matter of you just being available to your carriers when they call in for something, like if they get lost or they have a flat tire or they get in an accident or they got held up at the shipper. That's that time for you to troubleshoot with your carrier. You should not be looking for loads after 10 a.m. You should be on call waiting to troubleshoot for your carriers. That's it. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Does everybody understand what I mean by that split shift and that time shift? Does everybody get that? Everybody's on page? Everybody understand that? Yes, no, maybe so? Give me some feedback.
Yes, I understand.
All right, great. I want to make sure, because I don't want to move on and somebody come back and say, well, Kevin, I got a question. I don't quite understand. That's why I asked you all these questions. Now, this is live training. This is a two-way street. Okay, I expect some feedback from you all, because that's the best way you're going to learn. Okay, I expect some feedback from you. If y'all haven't watched my training before, you know that I ask y'all questions. I ask y'all to participate. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go down here to the load boards. Where do you find your load boards? You're going to stroll down here, and this is where your load boards are. They're in a Rolodex section. You're going to go through, and you're going to find your load board. Now, I'm going to pause my sharing here for just a little bit, because I don't want the people at home out there in to see this. Give me a second here. Well, no, I'm not going to pause my sharing, but when you click on this, don't just click on it and then just jump right to the link. Read what it says when you click on it, because when you click on it, that's where your username and password is going to be to access the load board. For those of you who are new. Okay, when you click on this, there's a holding page there. Read that. It tells you don't change any of the logins. If you do, you will be prosecuted. That's at the end of the day. It tells you that. Make sure you read it. Then it shows you the username and the password to log onto that load board. Okay, so That's what's going to happen. All right, I'm gonna stop my share here for a second, and then I'm gonna cross over and get to that. Y'all give me just a second. Let me pause my sharing. All right, and then I'm gonna go over here, and we're gonna go ahead and get on to this direct freight load board. I don't think my logins are saved. Yeah, okay, it might be saved. There we go. Let me log in. Nope, I logged in on the wrong account. Give me a second. Let me log into my other account. I've got two accounts with them. I've got a training account and I got a live account. Let me log into my live account. All right, now I'm into my log account. All right, let me go ahead and start back my sharing. All right, there we go. All right, this is the load board that I like to use a lot. I like direct freight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked at that. They're very expensive. That wants a lot of money for us to have the kind of access that we have. And I like direct freight better, to be honest with you. I do. I've had several people on Facebook complaining about they weren't able to find loads, going to a certain place or leaving out a certain place, no good paying freight. A young lady was on there just the other day talking about she couldn't find any loads leaving out of North Carolina that's paying more than $2 per mile. I went to direct freight and I found all kind of loads paying 8, 9, 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, dollars per mile. I mean, a ton of freight. And a lot of them were leaving right out of the area within 20 miles from where she was located at. And when I posted the screenshots on Facebook, I got about 17 messages to my inbox of people asking questions. What load board is that? These are good paying freight. What load board is that? I'm like, really? Okay. That's why I like direct freight. Okay. All right. Now, what I want y'all to start getting the habit of is always go to your load map first. Okay. It's early in the morning. Now it's late in the afternoon, but early in the morning, when you get on here, you want to go to your load map first. Can anybody tell me why you want to go to your load map before you just go start looking for loads?
So you can see where all the loads are at.
Exactly. If you know you got a carrier who's in Missouri and you're looking at the load map, you see there's 1,205 loads in Missouri, you know that you got a good chance of finding your carrier some loads. If you got a carrier that's up here in North Dakota and you see up there you only got 66 loads, you know you're gonna have some difficulty finding loads. So you automatically get a snapshot, where if I can't get them anything out of North Dakota, I can go over here to Minnesota where they got 707 loads. I can go down here to South Dakota where they got 426 loads. So I got some surrounding states that I can run him to. If I can find a load out of there to that surrounding state, run him there on that, and then run him from there with a good load. Does everybody understand that methodology?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you want to get in the habit of going and looking and getting a snapshot of what the country looks like when it comes to load availability. Okay. So that's what you want to do. So let's say you call up your carrier and you got a carrier that says that, well, right now I am in Alabama. So you're gonna go down here where Alabama's got a lot of loads this afternoon. This is 7:30 in the afternoon, and there's 6,755 loads in Alabama. I don't know what these people talking about, ain't no loads out there. I mean, if they must got the wrong load board, because the load board that we got, it shows we got loads. Okay. And not only do we got loads, let's say you're looking at Alabama. And I always like to look at a snapshot of all the loads first. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to go, because when you pull up these load boards, it's gonna just show you, randomly loads. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and pull up all the loads with rates first. Now, there was a time when these load boards did not have a lot of rates posted, but our platform actually influenced the industry when we came up with that straight dispatch software that Mr. Khalid had developed that would allow us to highlight, when we click on it, it highlights all the loads that had their rates posted. Then the industry caught on, and then they started posting the loads with rates already added. And then they started adding stuff like this estimated rate per mile button. That did not be there about 4 years ago before we started doing it. So that lets you know what type of influence our platform has had on the industry when it comes to load boards. Because now just about every load board now has caught up to speed, and they have this estimated rate per mile. Why do you want to look at the estimated rate per mile versus the pay rate? Anybody?
To give you a gauge of how much difference today versus a couple days ago was.
That's true too. Pay rate is deceiving. If I click pay rate, let me show you something. If I click pay rate, it's deceiving. It'll show me the highest paying load, but you got to look at the miles you got to travel to get that money.
Right.
So is that really the highest paying freight? That's only $3.44. Yes, it's $8,000, but you got to go how many miles? 2,327 miles to make that money.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna take you all week, man. You ain't gonna be able to drive no more. Most drivers can't drive more than 500, 450 miles per day. I'm gonna be honest with you, because they gotta stop, use the bathroom, stop, do sightseeing, stop, get something to eat. They always stopping. Now, if you're like me, I could drive 600 to 650 because I keep my door shut and I just keep on driving. You know, I drive my 3 hours, I take that 30-minute break. Then I get back in that truck and I drive another 7, 8 hours, just straight running, okay? And you got to look at weight that they're pulling on average, 30 to 60,000 pounds. You got to look at what region they're in. If they're going up hills or mountains, that's going to cut down on the number of miles that they can drive in a driving shift. But if everything was perfect, you only had about 25 to 30,000 pounds using the flatlands, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, something like that. And, you know, and you were driving and the weather was good. You got no hills. The best you're going to do is 650 miles. I'm in a driving shift. So that means if you're like this right here, going from Alabama to California, you got some hills when you get to California, right? You got some little mountains, some hills when you get to California. That run's going to take you all week. So you can look at it. It's 2,300 miles. If the best you can do is 600, you can pretty much see what you got to do. You got to go 1, 2, 3, 4 days minimum.
4, 5 days.
Yeah, and most drivers can't drive more than 450, 500 miles per driving shift. So it's going to take them all week. That's an all week run to make what, $8,000, and there ain't no money for a whole week run. That's why I say this is deceiving when you look at the pay rate. That's why I always like to click rate per mile, because you can see here that pay rate is only $3.44, even though it's showing $8,000. But if you click that rate per mile, you're gonna get the true rates that's paying good money. Okay.
Hey, Calvin, are you taking questions at the end?
I'll take some questions as we go along, and I'll take questions at the end.
I just got one question.
As long as they're on subject.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
So when I went on there today, you know, I had a beginner's thing. I couldn't see everything that you're seeing. Does that mean I need to purchase the full premium?
No. Did you log in?
Yes, sir.
You used to log in that we have in the back office.
Yes, sir, I did.
Were you on your phone?
Maybe I was on my phone.
That's why. Don't do this on your phone, because when you're on your phone, it's going to show you limited stuff. You got to do some extra clicks to get to the rates.
So basically, all the sites come with the. I don't have to pay nothing extra.
No.
Okay.
But use a computer or a laptop.
What about a tablet?
You can if the tablet is not in mobile version. I always want to look. I've told you all time and time again, you cannot do this on a phone or a tablet that is locked into mobile device use, mobile version, like a mobile phone. It's tablet. Some tablets have what's called mobile version, and they have desktop version. If your tablet can switch between mobile and desktop, always use desktop version.
Okay.
Because when you do this on a phone, you're basically just looking at an app. That's basically what you're looking at. And you're not going to be able to see all the information the way it's laid out here. And that's a problem if you're trying to dispatch freight. You cannot dispatch freight from your phone. I've told you all that. Get yourself a laptop, get yourself a computer, or get yourself a tablet that works like a laptop so you can be in desktop version all the time. And that way you'll be able to see this stuff and you'll be able to access the stuff the way you should.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Yep.
So now, as you all can see, when you go to estimated pay rate per mile, now you're seeing the real money, $23.53 a mile. And it's a short run, 17 miles, Birmingham to Pelham, right? It runs today and tomorrow. And it probably picks back up and runs all week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That is a good indication that you have a dedicated load. You just identified a dedicated. And what I like about dedicated is that little 17-mile run that runs every day, you got time to run some more loads along with that. So if you can string about 4 of those loads together, when you got these little short runs like this, and they averaging $400, $500, $600, $700 per run, that's where you, and then if you can run those and you find out that they're dedicated, you call those brokers back and you let those brokers know, hey, you know my guy that picked up that load this morning that at 6 a.m. I'm in Pelham. Yeah, you know he can run that load every day. Then you call the next broker, hey, you know my guy that picked up that load this morning around about 11 a.m. because they ain't gonna take him no time to go and get that and drop it, right?
Right.
So he can go and find another load by 11 a.m. No my guy that ran that load, I'm at 11 a.m. that ran like 45 miles or whatever the case may be. Yeah. No, you can run that load every day, don't you? Yeah. All right. Then you call the next guy. Find another load. Hey, you know my guy that ran that load from such, and then you get them to agree to allow your guy to pick up those loads at those times. What have you just done? You have set up a string of, you set up a dedicated lane, 3 to 4 loads. Each load's paying you anywhere between $400 and $600 and $700 per load. That's totaling up to anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a day, 5 days a week, off every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's money versus trying to run that one load for $8,000 that's going to cost you, it's going to run you all week. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference between an $8,000 run and you got $3,000 on the other spending fuel because you're traveling all the way across country. So now you only got a $5,000 run after your fuel cost minus your insurance. You're about a $4,000 run, right? Now you're about $4,000 versus running these little short loads with that you can connect, and you're getting $1,500, $2,500 a day. That's a minimum of $12,000 a week, $10,000 to $12,000, $10,000 to $14,000 a week, right? And you ain't spending no $3,000 in fuel because you're running short run. You're gonna spend about, at today's fuel prices, about $2,100. That's a big difference between $3,000 and $2,100. That's $1,000 different than fuel. That's $1,000 back in your pocket. You see what I'm saying? These long runs like that, you spend all week trying to make one long run at $8,000. You're gonna walk away with about $4,000. With them short runs, you spend all week running them little short runs and dedicated runs, you're gonna walk away with about $9,000. Big difference.
Wow.
Big difference. And I want y'all to get in the habit of doing this when you're looking for freight. Now, this is why I always hit this estimated rate per mile, because it's always going to give you these shorter runs with the higher rate per mile. Now, let's say you got a guy who is in Birmingham, all right, and you know that this is a dedicated because it runs today and tomorrow. But let's say you go ahead and you run him on this one today. You're going to go in and click on this one, and you run him on this one today. All right? You're going to come in here, you're going to look at the load. Trailer type. What is this? A flatbed? $400 is what they're offering on it, right? And before you even try to negotiate, let's just stick with that for right now. $400. Now, immediately you're gonna say, okay, this is a short run, 17 miles. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go over here and click where it says reverse search. Don't ever book a load without knowing if you can find a load going somewhere else or coming back. Make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Always have your game plan, exit plan, or another load already planned. All right. So you got this right here, right? 17 miles, right? You know that $400 that he'll make just with that little run. It ain't gonna take him a half hour to run that load, maybe 40 minutes top to run that load. Okay. So you're gonna do a reverse search. You're gonna do a reverse, and this is why I want you all to use a computer, because on a phone you have to get completely off that screen and get onto another screen, and then you're gonna forget what you had on the other screen. If you're on a computer like what we have here, it's all gonna line up. Y'all see how it lines up? You got the load you had before. Then when you do your reverse search, you got your other load over here. So then you can go back and see where you going and calculate your money and plan out your, your map for that day. Does everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're gonna do your reverse search. Now you're gonna take out that Pelham because remember, well, you're not really trying to go back to Pelham right now because it was just 17 miles. All right, and you're not really finding anything going back from Pelham to Birmingham. So what you're gonna do is you don't necessarily want to go back to Birmingham. You went to Pelham, so you're gonna take out that Birmingham, but you're gonna leave it at 25 miles, right? And see what else is out there. Then you're gonna do a search. Now you're gonna do a flatbed because you know that load was a flatbed, right? So let's refine that search. See what we got. All right. So now we got this, and you're gonna do estimated rate per mile. I'm here again, right? Because you went to Pelham. You went from Birmingham, right, to Pelham, right? So now you're looking for something that's leaving out of Pelham, going somewhere else. Now, this says that you can go back 17 miles to Birmingham and grab a load, going to Maldwin or Auburn or whatever this is that. Because it's such a short run, 17 miles, that ain't really no deadhead, right? Right?
Right.
So what you can do is, and here's what here's what I look for. I look for this right here. You see, you want to look for Birmingham to Marlin, 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 Birmingham to Marlin.
Dedicated.
Exactly.
Wow.
You want to check these dates to make sure that they're running every day. See how these dates line up? You got them running on the 19th, and you got them running again starting on Monday on the 20th, and you run them on the night on the day. It runs tomorrow. It picks back up on Monday. It runs on Tuesday. It runs on Wednesday. It runs on Thursday. It runs on Friday. That's a dedicated. So now you got 2 dedicated, and you can run them both, right?
Yeah.
Not only do you got 2 dedicated, this other one, Birmingham to Marlin, is 296 miles. Can you add a 296 mile into that 17-mile run?
Yeah.
Of course you can, because you can run 650 miles a day. So go ahead and grab that one, 296 miles. Well, you got that plus 17 mile, 296 miles. You're still under 320 some odd miles, 320 miles. You got about another close to 300 miles you can run, right? So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go ahead and try to size this up because you got that one dedicated already. Now you're just gonna have to go back to Pelham, pick this load up, right? And that load is paying $1,850. So that's 400 plus 1,850. Already you're over $2,000 a day. Is that not good paying freight?
That's great, man.
You don't think you'll make your carrier happy with that?
Yeah.
Now people, I don't know what these people talk about. Oh, freight, ain't no freight paying no good money out there. I can't find no good paying. I don't know what they doing. They ain't working. Because if they were doing what they were,
I hope that they have that for my box truck. I can work that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Look. If they just spend the time to look for the freight, they will find the good freight. Because there's good paying freight out there. Because the industry, let me clue y'all in on something about this industry. I don't care what's going on with the economy, with pandemics, with war, or whatever the case may be, gas prices, whatever. The industry will always adjust itself to the market. Always. If fuel prices go up, rates go up. Okay? If they have problems, getting freight in, rates go up. The industry always adjusts itself to the market. Now, watch what happens when fuel prices drop way back down and people start getting used to this COVID thing and everything starts going back to normal. The rates are going to adjust back down to accommodate for the market. Because what you're seeing right now, these high-paying freight rates you see right now, This is not normal, people. I'm letting y'all know this. 4 years ago, those of you who've been here for a while, y'all remember back 4 years ago when you could barely find a load that was paying over $250 per mile. The average load was like $1.40, $1.79. That was the average rate. Now the average rate is about $3.25. The industry rates right now are higher than they've been in the last 3 decades, believe it or not. So don't believe all this regurgitated stuff you hear about, oh, ain't no good paying freight, the gas price high, rates going down. That's BS. Okay? This is a live load board. I'm still strolling. I ain't ran into a $2 load yet.
Golly.
You understand what I'm saying?
I see.
So don't buy into that, don't buy into that. Don't buy into that. Work your business, make your money. Get your carriers making money. All right. So we got this load right here that's paying $1,850. We got another load that's paying $400. So you're gonna run him over there to South Carolina, and you know that that's a dedicated. So now you got 2 dedicateds lined up, right? So what you're gonna do? You're gonna find this load that ran today on the 19th. You're gonna click on it. Now you're gonna try and find a load going back to where? You're doing a reverse search, right? You're gonna do a reverse search, and you want to go back. Where do you want to go back to, y'all?
Birmingham.
Birmingham. You want to go back to where you started out at, right? You want to go back to Birmingham, because if you go back to Birmingham, what's going to happen? If you can get back close to Birmingham, what's going to happen? You'll be back there to pick up the next day for your money load. You do it all over again, right?
No.
That's what you want to do. Now, I'm not seeing anything within 25 miles of Malden, South Carolina. So what you want to do is you want to adjust this number first. Because he dropped in Malden, South Carolina. So you're going to adjust that out to 50-mile radius. So that he may have to deadhead 50 miles to get something going back towards Birmingham. You're going to do another search. See what pops up. Nothing there. Now you're going to do this. You're going to adjust this one. Don't go and adjust that to 100 miles yet, because you don't want them deadhead too far. You're going to adjust this from 25 miles to 50 miles. Dropping somewhere close to Birmingham, right? You're gonna adjust that one. Then you're gonna do another search. See if you can find anything. All right, there we go. We got one load. All right, he's picking up. He got to go 11-mile deadhead.
Tuscaloosa.
11-mile deadhead. He's going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Which is gonna put him real close to where? Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Less than 50 miles to Birmingham. Now we don't know what that rate pays, but we know it gets him back to his money load. Now, we don't know. Now, that doesn't look like it's a dedicated. Now, what do you want to do from here? From here, since you don't know what that load paying, here's what you can do. You can check our tool that we have in the back office, the Insta rate, that kind of gives us a average of what that lane pays for that flatbed. Or you can go and increase this out a little bit more. Let's say here, let's do 100 miles, not on the deadhead, but on the drop-off. Let's do 100 miles on the drop-off and see what we get. And then I'll go back and adjust to see if we get it. All right, there you go. You found another load from Piedmont to Montgomery. Now, Montgomery is a little bit further out from Birmingham because it's only going 299 miles on the trip, but this is going 340, which is putting you right close to Birmingham. But they're both on 11 miles, both leaving out of Piedmont. Okay, so you got 2 loads. All right, let's adjust this the other way. Let's do this. Let's see if you go 100 miles out, what can you find? All right, you still got that same load. Still got that same load right there. Okay, Piedmont to Tuscaloosa. So your best bet is to stay with that one and go with this one.
Yeah.
All right, to get him back to his money load. Right, because then you just have to find him a way back to his money load each day, because you're running him out, but each day now you got to find him a way back to his money load. It would help if we could have found him another dedicated that's going back. But either way, he's got already a bunch of money made. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the load that puts him closest to Birmingham, but that's going to put him kind of close on his mileage that he needs to drive for the day, right? Because over here, he's already ran how many miles on this one? He's ran 17 miles there, and he's ran 296 miles here. So right now we're looking at a total of how many miles?
300 and some miles.
Let's go to our calculator. Let's go to the good old calculator. So we got 17 plus 296. That gives 313 miles, right?
Yeah.
And then this load right here ran him how many miles? This load right here is going to run him what 300 and if you take this one, it's going to run 340 miles back plus 340. That may not work. See, that's close. That's close. I don't think.
How do you gauge the pickup times?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to give yourself about an hour to 2 hours on your pickup time. But what you do is you train your driver to go in the sleeper every time they're waiting to load up. Because then you get hours, then you get stuff back what's called on recaps. If y'all know how to run on recaps, that's another whole class. But I'll teach y'all about running on recaps. Okay. Me and my partner, we ran on recaps for 3 weeks before we even did a 34-hour shutdown. Okay. We ran on recap, but we were a team driving truck, and we were just running on recaps for a whole 3 weeks. You know, I mean, you run, and then you saving that time when you shut down that night for your 10-hour break. If you got recaps coming, if you've been saving your time on the sleeper, going in the sleeper, like when you're stuck in traffic, going in the sleeper when you're not driving more than 25 miles per hour, put that bad boy on sleep. When you're stuck in traffic like that, put that bad boy on sleep. Every time you sitting there waiting to be loaded, when you get to the shipper and you're creeping around, put that bad boy on sleeper. What happened with that is that night when you shut down for your 10-hour reset, right? After about 2 to 3 hours, your clock will tell you can run 8-9 hours.
Wow.
So that time comes back quick like that. You only shut down for 2 or 3 hours, then all of a sudden your clock pops back up and say you're able to run again. Guess what me and my partner do? We get up and we run. We get up and we run. Okay, that's how we did it. But that's called running on recaps, right? And I can teach you all about that too. But that's going to be pretty close. So that may not work. So we're going to bite that out. We're going to bite that that 340 out, and we're going to go with that 299 one. So minus that 340, back that 340 out, and then we're going to go plus 299, and that probably won't even work either, to be honest with you. So that's 612 miles. Okay, you still have to be a pretty good driver to drive that, and then you got your load and unload time. But the great thing about this, it's a flatbed. Why is that a good thing? Anybody?
I don't know.
Easy to unload.
Easy to load and unload.
Yeah.
With box truck, with dry vans and reefers, you gotta have like what's that thing called? The forklift. Yeah, you got a forklift, or you got the thing where they pull it out and you gotta go up in there, you gotta load it one piece at a time, go pick it up, load it one piece at a time. With flatbeds, you pull up, right? You can have 3 or 4 forklifts, or you can have like a little crane or a little crane type thing. But even if you're using forklifts and you got all these different pallets, if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pallets, you have your forklift here, then you have a forklift here, a forklift here, and a forklift here. They all pick them up at the same time. They all merge on at the same time. They drop it down at the same time. Tie that bad boy down. You out of there in less than a half hour. Versus that's how you do it with a flatbed, though.
You're right. It can be done.
If you're an experienced flatbed driver, and guess what? As a flatbed, you have more control over how that truck is loaded. Why? Because you're the one that's got to pull it, and you're telling them how to put it on your truck, on your truck.
Right.
Okay? Because you the one got to strap it down, got to put the tarp, got to build your bulkhead and all that type of stuff. So when you pull up there, you can tell them, so, all right, I see here y'all got 4 pallets of bricks or whatever it is, or you got lumber or whatever it is. If it's lumber, they should have a crane there to pick that whole thing up, drop it down on there, tie it down. If it's
Yep.
if it's palletized, you got a bunch of different pallets, then they should have at least 3 or 4 forklifts. They'll pin them up all at the same time and they merge on together, drop it down at the same time. Why do you want to do it that versus putting one pallet on, then put another pallet and another pallet on? Because when you put that one pallet on, if it's got any weight on it, it's going to throw the balance of the trailer off. Correct?
Correct.
So if you put it all down at the same time, it keeps it balanced. It's evenly dispersed. That way you don't have to worry about shifting it to make it balance out on your tandems. Yeah, I'm showing y'all I know a little bit something about driving the truck. I've done this for a while. Okay, let y'all know I know a little bit something about how to run a truck. I have done flatbed. I have done reefer. I have done. That's the good thing about working with Covenant. It was all dropping hooks, so you pulled everything. You pull up. One day you may be pulling up to a reefer, pulling that. Next day you may be pulling up to a flatbed, pulling that. Next day you may be pulling up to a drive. So look, I know how to run a truck. Okay. So that's how you load a flatbed. So it's going to take you a lot less time on loading these flatbeds and stuff than it would if you was looking at a dry van. So you could possibly, it's still going to be difficult to make that though, because you're not leaving any room. I mean, you're looking at about a 40-mile window, which is about an hour of load time. You see what I'm saying? So, and you got 3 loads here. That means if you try to load all 3 of them, got all 3 of those loads loading and unloading on an hour load time, that's going to be almost impossible to do. So we need to look for another load that's coming back somehow or another to find him a load back. And it's kind of difficult finding him a load back now because we may not be able to run this 3rd run. I hate to say it, but we may not be able to run this 3rd run, which is okay. Which is okay. Because what happens is we can go back to the 2nd run, right? Go back to the 2nd run, right? And let's do a reverse search. Let's go back to Birmingham from this 2nd run. All right? We're going to go here. We're going to go back to Birmingham from this 2nd run. Hold on. No, give me a second. I'm sorry, not that one. I'm going to have to go back all the way back to the 1st run. Go back to the 1st run, and let's do a reverse search. And let's do this. Instead of running him to Modine, we're going to run him to somewhere else. Now, this is why you want to get up early in the morning and start doing your load analysis and load acquisition. Okay? Because what you're doing is you're mapping out your carrier's day. You're trying to maximize his profits. Okay? That's what you're doing. You're trying to maximize his profits. So instead of going out to Modine, we're going to do this right here. And we're going to do, what in the world happened there? We got an error there on our thing. Y'all see that? Yeah, we had a big error there. Okay, there we go. Instead of going back to Birmingham, let's do this. And let's do a flatbed. All right, there we go. Now let's do this search again. All right. So we're not gonna take him to that Modine, even though that pays great, but it's impossible for us to get all the way out there and get him back to his dedicated. I mean, understand what I'm saying? So now it may have been better to run him to Modine first and then run him back. But still 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the next. Let's not run him that far out. Let's look at one of these loads right here, 178 miles. Okay, but let's try to find something. There's that Modine again. But that Modine road looks good though, boy. They running that one.
They running
That's
that
a hell of a run. Yeah, that's a hell of a run. Kings Mountain, North Carolina, that's 360 miles though. Try to find him a load I'm trying to find him another dedicated that doesn't go that far out. All right, here's one right here. Birmingham to Tullahoma. Okay. That's the dedicated. 19 and 20. All right. So that's a dedicated. He's only going to go 17 miles deadhead. And then he's going to go 161 miles. That's one. Yeah, because you got 3 loads right here.
So Calvin.
There we go. Right on
Calvin,
the 1920 and pick back up on Monday. Yeah.
So you go from Birmingham to whatever that is, right? And then what you would go back to Birmingham, just go right back?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's 17 miles.
Right. Now
the first
the next day you'll be ready for that again, right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what we're doing. This will all make sense to you once we finish. Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay.
All right, because remember you picked up a load that's only going 17 miles.
Right.
Right. That's going from Birmingham to Pelham. Then you're gonna turn back around and you're gonna go deadhead 17 miles back.
Right.
To Birmingham and pick this load up and pick up a load that's going from Birmingham to one of these other places right here. So now you went from Birmingham to Pelham, and then you're gonna go back to Birmingham again. So you just deadheading back to Birmingham each time. It's only 17 miles, okay? But I'm trying to find the best load that gives him the best pay without going that many miles. So it looks like this 161 mile, this Birmingham to Tullahoma, you got a lot of those loads on here. Y'all see that? A lot of them. And it's only 161 miles. Y'all see that? Birmingham to Tullahoma, that's definitely a dedicated run. There it is again, Birmingham to Tullahoma. So let's look at this one. Picking up on the 19th, Birmingham to Tullahoma. Now that is going to give him 400 plus 800. Now you're going to do a reverse search from Tullahoma back to where? Birmingham. So now let's see how that works out. Let's see how that works out.
So he's dropped off that more, and he's trying to go back to Birmingham with something, right?
Yeah. So he can do what? Have his what? Go back to his money load. Go back to his money load for the next day. So let's do 50 miles out to Birmingham. All right, let's do like that 25. Let's do 50 miles out from Birmingham. All right, there's a one load there. We got enough time where we can do a 50-50. Let's say 50-50. Still nothing there. All right, let's do a 25-100. So maybe something that's 60 or 75 miles out. Still nothing. Boy, they're making it tough. They're trying to make it tough for us today now. Let's take that back to 50, and let's take this up to 100. What I'm doing is I'm playing with the distance. There we go. We found our magic number. All right. We found our magic number. So, all right, because we got enough time to do it, right? Because we only go to 161 miles out. He can go 100 with that may be 100 miles. Hold on here. That's going to deadhead. We got some deadhead stuff here. That's 2387, but he's got some dedicated deadhead that runs him right back to Birmingham.
Wow.
So and that's on and it's only it's 129 mile deadhead, but it's running him right back to Birmingham. So that may work. That may work. And it's paying $625, and it's a dedicated. So now you got 3 verifiable dedicated runs, right? So let's look at to see if this works first. Okay, let's check our mileage now. Let's check our mileage. We got 129 miles. Let's check our mileage. We got 129 deadhead plus 206 miles. And then before that, we had what? We got 161 miles, right? Plus 161. Looking good. plus what? 17, right?
Yeah.
513 miles. We can do that. We can do that because we got 100 and we got about 140 miles over, which gives us, if you calculated that into time, that gives us 140 miles equal to how much in time, everybody? No, hours.
Hour and
No.
minutes.
Now, when it comes to big trucks, 140 miles it gives you what in time? 50 miles is going to give you an hour in the big truck. So 140 miles is going to give you what? At least 3, almost 4 hours that he has to spare for load time. And he can make that work. Does everybody agree to that?
Yes.
Everybody see how he can make that work? You got to know how to calculate. You got to know. You got to know the calculation. you got to know the algorithm. Now, I know y'all come and say, "Well, I didn't know trucking was this complicated." Well, if you're on this side of the table and you are a dispatcher, these are the skills you're gonna have to become accustomed to. These are the skills you're gonna have to perfect. Because I'm telling you, if you learn these types of skills, how to analyze freight, how to dissect, loads, and analyze and calculate, you will make your carriers a ton of money and make yourself a ton of money in the process. Yes, it's a little bit more working time, but to get this carrier on 3 dedicated runs where he is home every night, off every weekend, and making how much 5 days, 5 days a week. He got, so let's look at the money now. Now we know that it works time-wise. Now he's got 800 on that load right there, plus, what's this load right here? This load right here is paying, what load were we on? Hold on. No, I'm on the right load. He's paying 400 on that one, 800 on that one, and then this one's going back to Birmingham. There we go. This one's paying 625. All right. So here's what we got. We got these dedicated. So that's that Spring Hill back to Birmingham is what we're looking at. So what we have here now, this load that was leaving today is already gone, but that's neither here nor there because it runs every day. So you're gonna put them on that load on for the next day, and you're gonna run them every day. But you got this load paying 625. So you got 800 plus 625 plus 400. 1825 a day, 5 days a week, home every night, off every weekend. And that's before you negotiate price.
Wow.
That's before you even try to get the broker to go up in it. How many of you all think you can get the broker to move at least $100 on each one of those loads? How many of you all think you can get the broker to move at least $100 on each one of those loads?
At least 100.
At least $100 on each one of those loads. So if you can do that, you would add another $300 to that.
I'll be here.
That'll give you $21.25 per day, 5 days a week. Home every night, off every weekend. That times 5, $10,625 a week. Ain't that a whole lot better than running that long load for $8,000? You take it all week to do it, and you got to find them another load for the next. I mean, come on. This now, what you do with this, you calculate your drop off and whatever, and as you run them, you're gonna verify as you run those loads. You're gonna go ahead and book all 3 of those loads, and as he picks up and drops off, picks up and drop off. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna let the first guy know he can pick that load up at 6 a.m. early that morning, whenever they open up. If they open up at 5, make sure he's there at 5 a.m. Right? Pick that load up. 17-mile run. He'll be there and back in about 40 minutes. So you're gonna let the other guy know that he can pick the load up. If he pick that load up at 6 a.m., he can pick the other load up no later than 8 a.m., 8:30. Give that guy a window, so he'll be there to pick that load up sometime between 8 and 9 a.m. That's a good window, right? So he gets there and pick that load up. That load, he's got to run some miles. What was that second load? He had to run what? 161 miles, right? So that was going to take him about 4 hours, right? Yeah, that's going to take him about 3.5 to 4 hours, right? So if you pick that load up at 9:30, that means that he's going to be dropping it 10, 11, 12, no later than about 1 o'clock. Dropping it about 1. Flatbed.
How long did you say
let's give him an hour.
Is
Huh?
how many hours? How many? Would it take an hour for the 17 miles? Would you calculate for that?
It's only going to take him about 45 minutes to go pick that load up, drop it, and bring it back. But I gave him an hour. I gave him from 6 a.m. until about 8:30. Something, because I told you. So the first one picks up at 6. The next one you're gonna tell the guy he'll be there between 8 and 9. So you give him a 2-hour window, basically. He'll be there between 8 and 9 o'clock to pick it up. Then the next run is gonna run 161 miles. Give him about 4 hours. So that's 9 to so take him about an hour to load. So 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2. So by 2 o'clock, he is ready to go get that last load. Okay, drop that load right there. Then go pick that load up. Let's say about 3 o'clock, he go pick that load up, and then he runs that load back. That last load, he runs it back, and it is 206 miles. He runs it back about 4 hours. So 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. He'll be back home by 6 o'clock. 6:15. He'll be back home. Shut down for his 10 hours, right? And be ready to go get that load early the next morning and start it all over again. Does everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that's not bad money for a flatbed each week. Now, after you take out his fuel, and remember, he ain't gonna spend a whole bunch of fuel like you would if you run them long loads, because he's running little short, intermediate loads, right? So his fuel cost is probably gonna be around about $2,200 for the week on that. You see what I'm saying? So he's looking at to run those loads for that week. He's looking at about 22 at tops, $2,500 on fuel, minus $2,500 on fuel at tops. Even at today's prices, still leaves him with taking home $8,125 a week. That's times 52 weeks of the year. That gives him $422,000 a year. Minus your 10%. And now your 10% comes on before the fuel, though. So that means your 10% is based on what? That 10,625. So your 10% at 10,625, 10,625 minus 10%. So hold on, my bad. I did that wrong. 10,625 minus 10%. There we go. So your pay a week from that one carrier would be $1,062 a week. See how dedicated to make your life so much easier. And guess what? Once you get those dedicated, they set up, you ain't got to worry about finding that carrier freight no more until that dedicated runs out, until it runs its course. Right?
Yeah.
All you gonna do from here on out is to call the broker, call the carrier every now and then. Hey, Mr. Broker, how you doing? How's my guy doing on those loads? Oh, he's looking lovely, man. He's there on time. Call the next broker. Hey, Mr. Broker, how's my guy doing on those loads that he picked up? Hey, man, looking lovely. Call the next broker. Hey, Mr. Broker, how's my guy doing on the load? Just got to check in on him every now and then. And you can set your invoice system through Square. You can put it on where it automatically bills him that amount every week. Instead of trying to bill him after the drop of every load, you're going to put him on a weekly billing because you know what he's getting paid. You know it's the same thing every week, right? So go ahead and set it up on auto pay. Set it up on auto pay where every Saturday or every Friday it draws that much money off his credit card or his debit card. Come on, you got your business on auto. That's why. This is why I like dedicated. People say, how does my dispatch firm dispatch for 317 carriers? Because 78% of all my carriers are set up on dedicated. That is my forte. I always look to identify dedicated lanes and set them up on some type of dedicated. That way, I don't have to spend my time dispatching freight all day. Does everybody understand? Or I can turn it over to the interns and let them take care of calling the broker. Because doing this stuff just to check on them and that type of stuff. All I got to worry about dispatching for is that percentage of those carriers who are not on dedicated yet. But I'm always looking to sit them on what? Dedicated. Even if you have to take a carrier from an area, move him down to a certain area just to run dedicated, it's worth it to the carrier, right? If you got a carrier, let's say you got a carrier. Let's look at this. Y'all hold on a second. Let's say you got a carrier who lives up here around North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. Where these loads are almost non-existent, right? And they got to run all over the country just to make $5,000 a week. Don't you think you can convince that carrier? Hey, Mr. Carrier, look. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Ms. Carey, I know you live in Montana and North Dakota, but you're running all week long just to scrape together $4,000-5,000 a week. Why did I run you down here to Alabama? I got some dedicators down there I can put you on. You run in Alabama all week, make yourself 10, 12 grand, right? Make yourself 10, 12 grand, and then you fly home every weekend.
That'd be a dream now.
That's better than running all over the country and getting back home every 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Because now he can afford to what? Drive, park his truck on Friday when the last load, rent him a car, drive back to Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, or Colorado, or even Kansas or New Mexico, or wherever he's got to go. Or West Virginia, or wherever he can, run him down here and let him run, make money, and then he still gets home every weekend. Versus running him all over the country, he's getting home every 3 weeks.
That's what I need.
If you all would learn how to think outside the box or learn how to do this time management thing, people do not mind running, coming down. Let me let y'all in on a secret. I have a lot of my carriers that don't even live in Florida, but they come down to Florida and run all week and then go back home on the weekends. Because everybody says you can't make no money in Florida, right? That's true if you're trying to run outside of Florida. But if you're willing to run in Florida, God, you can make all the money you ever want to make, man. So what I do is I convince my carriers, come on down to Florida. Why leave Florida? It's sunny, you got beaches, it's like a vacation. Go ahead and come down here, run all week, and go home on the weekend. Yeah. That's better than running all over the country, get home every 2 to 3 weeks. You getting way out of nowhere, then you try to get back home every 2 or 3 weeks. Come on, man, that ain't no kind of life.
Oh, I've been there, done that, Coach. I've been there.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
It ain't. That is.
Of course you have.
No good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at some of these dedicated that they got here for. They got a lot of long run loads in Florida too, though. But they ain't really paying no money, on those long run loads.
Yeah.
And right now the rates are not looking that great because it's late in the afternoon. But I guarantee you, come tomorrow morning, boy, these rates gonna be looking good. Looking right here, y'all see these rates?
Jacksonville.
Y'all see these short runs, Jacksonville to Jacksonville, Jacksonville to Jacksonville. That's why I like to bring carriers down here. This live oak to Gainesville. That's a little 67-mile run, paying $450. Man, look at that right now. All day. I run that all day long and then some. Cape Canaveral to the Lakeland. These little short runs. Florida got all these short runs that's paying good money.
That's what I need.
And they're all, and just about all of them are dedicated.
Yeah.
So when you hear people say you can't make money in Florida, yes, you can. You just can't make money trying to run in Florida and get back out of Florida. Because Florida is what? A peninsula, right? Florida is a peninsula. So if you're running deep down into Florida, if you're running anything past Jacksonville, you ain't got but one way to get out. You can't go that way. You can't go that way. You can't go that way. That's why it's hard to get back out of Florida, because there's only one way back out. But if you decide to come down to Florida and hang out in Florida and make yourself some money, boy, you get rich down here in Florida. You'll get rich. And you'll be happy doing it. I mean, come on. Really? I got some carriers that have gotten like little one-bedroom apartment or have rented like some trailers, little mobile homes.
Right.
And they got their little place down here in Florida where they park their truck up at the mobile home, or they rent a trailer, or they rent a little one-bedroom apartment off the beach, somewhere. They living good. Why? Because they come back to their apartment or their trailer every night, every weekend. They either catch a flight or they rent a car going back home. And they come back down to Florida, pick their truck up, and run in Florida and make 12, 14 grand a week.
Golly.
And head back out. Now, is that not better than running all over the country?
Well, I did that.
And maybe getting back home every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. I was going from North Carolina to Miami for 6,800. That's a shame.
I know, man. I know. Look.
Yeah.
I would teach you all how to make your carriers money at the same time make you money. Okay, I will teach you all how to make your business, put your business almost on an automated type status with these dedicated runs, with identifying dedicated. You can just work load boards and identify dedicated. You can just work this one load board right here and identify dedicated all day long. Now that, on top of with the access we have to shippers and all the other stuff, you can set up, direct loads with shippers and things like that. There is no reason why you all should not be earning $150,000 to $200,000 a year easy. Because all you need is 5 carriers to make yourself $156,000 to $200,000 a year. And if you put 5 carriers on these type of dedicated, the way I'm showing you all how to identify and create these dedicated, you make all the money you ever want to make. Carriers be happy. Carriers be happy. You'll be happy. Everybody will be happy. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me check in with my YouTube people real quick here. I hate this. Why did these? Y'all see these spammers putting all this porn stuff on here? I wish YouTube would clean this stuff up. I really do. I wish YouTube would clean this stuff up. But they continue to let these people come on here and put this stuff. I wish they would clean this stuff up. Report. Y'all give me a second. I got to report all these. I wish I knew who this was. I don't know why they waste your time posting stuff. Nobody here is interested in this crap. I mean, really. Ain't nobody going to the sites. So I don't know why I don't know why they waste their time. The time would be better spent advertising on something that is receptible to something like this, because they're just wasting their time doing this crazy stuff. In case they don't know, time is money, so they're just wasting their time. That's all they're doing. I apologize for this little break in what we're doing. Y'all give me a second here. This is the problem with the internet. Every simple mind, good for nothing Yahoo can just come on here and post stuff. Report. And I have to take the time to report each one of them, because if you don't report them, they can just come back and do it again. I just hope YouTube is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I think it's this dummy right here is who it is. All right, get rid of him. All right, sorry about that. Okay, all right, let's see what some of our people got to say on YouTube here. Saying good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, weirdos in the chat. Yeah, weirdos in the chat. Block them all. How do you know it's a dedicated load when you say that? Do you mean that it's running every week? I mean it's running every day. The way you check dedicated, the check for dedicated, they're easy to spot. They really are easy to spot. If you look over here, if you see a pickup and drop off at the same place, you know, over and over again, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off. Then you go over here, you check the dates that they pick up, and you see here, and you line them up. You got the 19th, the 20th, then it breaks until Monday, the 23rd, then 24th, 25th, 26th. That's a dedicated. That's a dedicated. Yeah, it takes a little bit more time to take the time to actually look for that and spot it, and I think, but it's well worth the time. Don't y'all agree?
Yes, definitely.
And this is what makes you a professional. This is why you are so valuable to your owner operators. Yeah, I know there's dispatchers out there. All they do is just go in and look for the highest paying load and they put it on operator. Then they say, well, I found my load on tomorrow. I'll come back out. That's how owner operators get stuck. You never want to send your owner operator somewhere without having a way to get them back.
Right, right.
You always want to, when you send them out somewhere, always have them something lined up for them to come back. And what better way to do that than to try and string together some dedicateds? then you ain't gotta look for nothing else from possibly for the entire year if those dedicators keep running like that, right?
That's continuous money.
Yeah, put your business on automatic, man. Put your business on automatic. All right, questions. Anybody have any questions about load acquisitions?
Hey,
And
Calvin.
of
Question. How you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Good. I know I just joined yesterday, so I'm going to have to catch up on your previous lesson. But you mentioned earlier in the training about, certain things we want to make sure we get from the carrier before we go to the broker. Do you have a checklist or anything like that
flow chart.
or do I just need to take notes? You mentioned
Go back and watch last week's broadcast class. They're all on YouTube. I'm gonna show y'all here. All you gotta do is just go to our YouTube channel, and I usually categorize all these trainings in the how-to dispatch series. So if you go to YouTube and just search for RBBS how to with the number 2, you see it pulls up dispatch series, the playlist, and there it is right there. And I usually update this every 2 weeks with the latest videos. Here's the one that has the latest ones to it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these has the latest 7. And then I go back every 2 weeks, I go back and add the new, because we do this every 6 weeks. Okay. So I'm sorry, not every 2 weeks, but every 6 weeks I go back and I load up the other ones. Because we do one part of this 7 series each week. Okay. So at the end of 6 weeks, when we get to number 6, I'll go and I'll replace these with the newest 6. Oh, I'm sorry, the newest 7. Okay. So you can go back and watch, the video on dispatch agreement. That's one where because that's what comes before load acquisitions. And then like next week we'll do rate confirmations, and then we'll do invoicing, and then I'll replace all these on here with the ones that we did this past 6 weeks, and then we'll start over with compliance. We're going back on right down the list. Okay.
He came in and he went. He not in the room. He said we got to be there in the morning.
Thanks, Calvin.
All right. But that's what we have right there. Okay. But real quick, in your profile form, make sure you get from them, the DOT number, MC number, their letter of authority, their insurance, the letter of insurance, SAC code, all the stuff you're gonna need in case a broker says, "Well, I need them to fill out a broker care packet," and that's basically all the stuff you're gonna need. Okay, and you want to have that stuff anyway. I mean, if your carrier gets into an accident, who the first person that they're gonna call? You.
Yeah.
Especially if it's late at night or they're in the mountain somewhere and something happens, they're gonna call you. Why? Because you got all the information. You know you got the insurance paperwork. I mean, you know what insurance company called. I mean, you got all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? All right. Questions. Remarks. How did y'all feel about tonight's training? I hope y'all learned something. Hope y'all got a lot out of it.
It was good, man. Real good stuff. Thank you.
All right. Let's go back over here to our YouTube channel and see what we got. See what any final thoughts, anything from these people over here before we close out for tonight. How did they come back? How did they come back on with this stuff? I just deleted all this stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Didn't I just delete this stuff? I swore I just deleted this stuff. Or maybe it's just replaying the stuff that I already did. All right. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to Put user in timeout. I'm gonna have to go ahead and remove all this stuff. I just reported this stuff, and it's supposed to keep this stuff off here. I don't know what YouTube is doing. You know, to be honest with you, I mean, I really don't. It's like they don't really. They need to do better than what they're doing to control this stuff that they have in here. But anyway, I'm gonna go through and go ahead and call it for the night, and then I'm gonna go through and come back and remove all this stuff before I save this. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? No other questions? All right. All right. Let me go and stop my share, and I'll come back and do that later on. All right. All right, everybody. Look, I thank y'all for joining us. I'm gonna have to contact YouTube and see if what I can do to keep these weirdos off of our broadcast. I've heard about people hijacking Zooms and just crazy stuff, but that's the world we're living in, unfortunately. I don't even know where they're making money at, on this crazy stuff, posting stuff like this. And people know they don't want it. David says that training was amazing. I'm looking forward to learning from you. Hey, I appreciate that, David. I really do. I try to give you all the wealth of my knowledge, because this stuff that I've learned, it's what put me where I am now. I don't just teach this; I actually do this, and hopefully that shows with the way I'm training you all, the way I show you all how to do these live searches and the stuff that I do. Hopefully it shows that I'm not just someone who is teaching you stuff that I learned in a book. This is one of the ways I make my living, is dispatching freight. So, and I've been in trucking, I've driven a truck, I ran trucks, so I know this stuff. I know this stuff. So, and I kind of want to make sure I keep you all. Can the market ever be flooded with what? Someone just asked a question. Can the market ever be flooded with FDs? What's that? Freight dispatches? Nah, not really. The question you should ask yourself: can the market ever be flooded with good freight dispatchers? Okay, there's a difference between dispatchers and good freight dispatchers. A lot of dispatchers are not going to last because carriers are, they're only going to put up with them from, so much, and the cream always rises to the top. The cream always winds up with the most carriers and the most business, because if you're dispatching like some of these people are doing, and they're not looking for dedicated, they're not doing the stuff they're supposed to be doing, they're not trying to really care about the carriers, and they're making money, they're not going to have those carriers very long. That's why when you all call up these carriers to hit them with the pitch, that's why you hear carriers say, well, I had a dispatcher once before, and all they did was this, and that. That's why our pitch is designed the way it is. Sir, I understand. But let me ask you a question. If that dispatcher had found you freight that was paying, so they had kept you, out of the mountains, kept you from running all those heavy loads, you see how the dispatcher today, right? Yeah, great. Just like I said, I'm looking for freight to pay the kind of money you want to pay, going to the place you want to go, pulling the kind of freight you want to pull. Where can I send my dispatch agreement to? See, our pitch is designed to overcome the damage that bad dispatchers have left with these carriers. Okay, so that's why I train the way I do, because I want you all to be good at what you do. I want you to be the best at what you do, because if you're good at what you do, you're gonna make money. Plain and simple. I mean, you can make money in this business just by doing stuff crappy. I'm gonna be honest with you. You really can. That's how good of industry it is. But if you're good at what you do, you're gonna make a ton of money. All right. On that note, that's how we're gonna end it. Look, I'll see you all back here next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, we've got our Easy Lease Live coming up this Sunday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at this same link. So if you all want to come in and join us for that Easy Lease Live on Sunday at 5:15, feel free to do so. I would appreciate it. And I only do private consultations on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. You must schedule them 24 hours in advance. And I no longer do the half-hour consultations and the $25 half-hour specials. And then all consultations are an hour. All consultations are $100 per hour. That's just it. It is what it is. All right, but it's well worth it. All right. Good night, everybody. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all for joining us. Y'all have a safe weekend. Enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Good night.